I'm sending you a Merry New York Christmas and a prayer for peace on earth within our time.
If it's happening in New York or across the globe, where and why it matters, first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
All right, glad you're with us. Also very glad to have my next guest. He's got a new book coming out in the first part of 2022. They'll notify you more of that on his own ministry broadcast and program. Memoirs from the Marketplace is the name of that work, and it'll be published by Ironworks. But his name is Dr. Richard Hamlet. He's the president and CEO of Global Ministries Foundation, and you can hear him Sunday mornings at 9:30 in New York City on both AM 570 and 102.3 FM, The Mission, WMCA. And we are glad to welcome Richard to the Kevin McCullough radio broadcast. Hey, Richard, welcome.
Well, Kevin, it's my blessing to be here with you and your audience.
We are excited that you're part of the station, and I'm just curious, for people that are not up on Sunday morning, but they may need to turn that radio on now that they're hearing about you, what will they find with your broadcast every weekend?
Well, that's a great question. It is a different format, which I think the Lord has used to bring audiences from around the world literally to connect with our program. It's around 27 minutes, and the first 10 minutes or so I give a devotional type, what I call a homily, very good, strong exhortation from the Word of God, encouraging and challenging our listeners. And then we have about a 10 to 12-minute conversation with special guests each week, some of which our audience would know because they're national figures, but others they wouldn't know. And they are Christians, and I call them kingdom practitioners. And we have a Q&A, and I ask them to share with our audience about how they use their sphere of influence wherever they are, wherever they go, and the platforms God has given them to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then we close out with about 3 minutes where I give a last word, a benediction type, and then I pray for the audience.
That sounds very refreshing, actually, and grateful to hear about it. Sunday mornings at 9:30, of course. You came to ministry from Wall Street. How did that happen, and what was it that motivated you to change courses?
Well, I'd spent 15 years as an investment professional, based in Memphis, Tennessee, but commuted regularly up to the street for Wall Street training. I'm a chartered financial analyst, a CFA. Still hold that designation, and a financial professional. And for 15 years, I was structuring capital markets transactions and real estate-backed financing as a financier. And I was a born-again believer, very happy teaching a Bible study in Memphis as a deacon in a Baptist church and sharing the gospel as a layman. And then God came to me with that Amos calling, as we find in the Old Testament. Amos was a middle-aged John Cartwright of that time in Israel with real estate holdings and had a portfolio and was, been blessed by God. And God said, go preach the word of God, Amos. And so that's what my calling was when I was 35 years old. 25 years ago, this next March, when I was ordained to be a pastor. And so I've continued that ministry in the marketplace thrust because of my love for the marketplace and those who will never, ever possibly go into a sanctuary or a church service and hear the gospel.
I think it's wonderful, and the fact that you're interfacing your ministry with newsmakers and people that are influential and leading different sectors of life and so forth, I think is always really good. You know, there was a time in my own spiritual development where I kind of, and I always, I guess, had grown up more reformed in my way of thinking, and had always kind of thought that that was just the way Christians generally thought. But then it wasn't until after college and was actually serving in ministry in a couple of churches that I really discovered how reformed I was in terms of some of my thought. And one of the things that that really sealed that for me was this idea that spherical sovereignty, what we are doing as believers, where we are planted. If I'm a dentist, if I'm a school teacher, if I'm a Wall Street financial person, or if I'm someone that's interfacing in the media in New York and on Fox News and other places, that as a believer, I have an obligation, not just an option, but I have an obligation to fully infuse that experience with the truth that has transformed me. And I just love the fact that this is how you are not only structuring your ministry, but it's why you do it.
Yeah. My mentor was Dr. Stephen F. Alford, who pastored the Calvary Baptist Church there at Central Park, around 57th Street, for 15 years before he moved to Memphis to start training pastors and as a ministry. And that's where I was in Memphis was under his teaching during this transition, because I needed to learn how to preach. He was a wonderful expositional preacher. And so we still carry his vision. Dr. Alford, is he and Heather are in heaven, and it was preach the word, reach the world. My wife and I have been to 100 countries preaching the gospel over the last 20 years, so we have a global ministry. But our country literally is dying because we have the anti-Christ spirits now, as you know, in the cancel culture. So we're taking the gospel aggressively outside the church walls now, with different platforms of witness and challenging believers to do the same.
Yeah. No, that's what we're going to have to do, because if people understand what 2 Timothy 4 talks about, it doesn't get easier from this point on. No. It only gets more challenging. But that doesn't mean the church is supposed to become impotent and wimpy, right? We're supposed to have a vibrant, strong walk and be ready to give answers when people ask, why do you have hope inside you when nobody else does? So I love this. So what else will people find with Ministry in the Marketplace if they turn it on Sunday morning?
Well, I think they're going to find a very professional produced program that really our director of media, Jason Tyler, has done so well in our 7th year now, putting together and adding just wonderful technological toolbox items that just are very friendly to the listener and out there with the best of technology. But yet we come right to the bottom line that, it's all about a gospel-centered life. And tis one life, the soon will pass. Only what's done for Christ will last, as Dr. Stephen used to say so
That's right. That's right. Well, friends, if you want more information, the website is MITM Radio, Ministry in the Marketplace Radio, Ministry in the Marketplace, MITMradio.org. You can find out more about the broadcast, find out even additional stations where it's at and how you can get involved with them and support what they're doing. But we appreciate Dr. Richard Hamlet joining us today. And Richard, best wishes here in New York. And the next time you're in town, let's get together and fellowship a little bit in person.
Would love to do that. I understand your office is kind of near the street, so we'd love to come up there soon.
Not far at all. No, we're in the same walking block for sure.
Amen.
Dr. Richard Hamlet, thanks for your time today.
All right, bye-bye.
Kevin McCullough coming right back. Don't go away.